Valkyrie Zero, Amakusa, Riot. So, tuning, I'm going to give you a hint. What kind of t-shirt, what band do they seem to be wearing often? That's right, Slayer. And what is Slayer tuned to? E flat. So they made it easy. They tuned to E flat. Also, the tone is very 80s, early to mid, maybe even late 80s. You see in one of the videos they're plugged into a JCM 800, I believe, and you know what? I have a feeling that's their true sound, and they didn't really put much effects to it. So similar to what Slayer did, almost straight into the amp head. So one side note, if you're trying to get a Slayer tone, get your hand on a good EQ and drop your mids out, and that'll help you get a good Slayer tone. So discussion on the tab, and so I'm taking a look at 4 seconds to 6 seconds, and I did something kind of unique on there. I got some zeros for the fast ultimate picking on the E string with like 3 dots, and the 3 dots basically means it was so fast I couldn't count it, so play by feel. Scrolling through here, let's see what stood out. What stood out initially when I got into this song is finding the pocket and figuring out what they were doing picking wise. When I looked at their hands on the videos, I was like, I think they're just doing all downstrokes. And the tone that they had, it kind of muddied up all the goodness that they were doing on their right hand. They're doing a lot of alternate picking, and it's not standing out. And so because it didn't break through on the tone, it kind of took me a while to realize that it wasn't all downstrokes. And, thank goodness it wasn't all downstrokes, because it was brutal trying to do it in downstrokes. So scrolling back through the tabs here. At the 42 seconds to 56 second mark, you'll notice that for the most part, I don't have power chords on there, but you'll notice my hands are in a power chord position, and there's our two. I think what they were doing is that power chords are kind of a natural, comfortable place to have your hand, and even though I don't think they were hitting both strings most of the time in that riff, I think it was kind of comfortable to have their fingers in a power chord position, even though they were either focusing on the lowest string of that riff, be it the E or the A string. And so I'm going to scroll down again. And I guess it's a solo at 213 to about 235. I was going to record this song for YouTube on my V, but I was having a really hard time on the E, A, D, G, B, so on the B string. And the reason I was having a hard time on my V is that I believe I have a set of 9 gauge strings on there, and there just wasn't enough resistance with the 9 gauge strings for me to duplicate what the guitarist was doing on there. So I went back to my SLSMG, which had 10 gauges on there. So I share that with you in that if you're struggling with the quick alternate picking on the B string, try some thicker gauge strings, give you a little more resistance, and it seemed to kind of work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. And not much more to discuss on the riffs, other than a statement on their songwriting. And for the first, let's say, 3/4 of the song, they don't repeat riffs. So that was kind of interesting. Usually most metal bands, they'll repeat the riffs over and over again. Not so much here. You'll see it a little bit at the end of the song. They'll repeat the riffs. Also a songwriting tendency that they have is the riffs almost repeat 4 times. So they'll repeat identically 3 times, but on the fourth, the last half of the riff, they'll kind of change it up and kind of prepare you for the next riff. Reminds me of something that Lars Ulrich said to Howard Stern. I think it was something like, repeat 3 times and put a tail on it. And what he was basically saying is when they write the riffs, they'll repeat them 3 times, and then the fourth time they'll change it up a little bit. And that's what they've kind of done here. Hope you enjoy the tab, and the song's a fun one.